Welcome to the Wine Emporium's first Wine Explorers box. Today we're going to take you on a trip to one of the most famous wine growing regions in the world, Napa Valley. Located northeast of San Francisco, Napa Valley is a collection of many American viticultural areas, as you can see here, from up north in Calistoga to in the south at Los Carneros. Lots of different soils and climates that lead to very different winemaking. Squeezed up against the Mayacamas Mountains here at the Farniente Winery. This is a good example of how picturesque and beautiful the valley is. Here we have the winery of Robert Mondavi, who was a pioneer in the area. And he led the exodus out to Napa to make great wine because it really is a wonderful place to make wine. And that's why many of the wines are award-winning and world-renowned. So join us to enjoy the tastes and textures of Napa Valley.
So, this is the one everyone's been waiting for, I think.
Rightfully so.
What do you think of when you think of Napa?
Crowds in tasting rooms? No, I'm just kidding. I think of Cabernet Sauvignon. Is what
Who doesn't? Everyone thinks, in fact, the two words just go together. Napa Cab. That's what we all say.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the very best growing region for the Cabernet Sauvignon grape in the world. We are very lucky to have access to a lot of really amazing cabs from the Napa area. And this is what everyone's waiting for. This is what we get a lot of people into the store. They are seeking out these prize-winning Napa cabs.
So what's this one we have this time?
We have Carneros Springs.
Carneros Springs. So,
is there a Carneros Spring?
Well, I don't know. Well, Carneros is actually the area of the valley that's more famous for its Chardonnay and its Pinot Noir.
Right.
So it's an interesting name. But this is a very interesting wine, so it deserves an interesting name. Most of the Napa Cabernets that we think of as being iconic, Camus, Inglenook, Quintessa, these wonderful, unbelievable Napa cabs are very expensive. They would be more than this whole box of 6 bottles would be. So we did the next best thing. This bottle comes from, they don't do it every year. They only make this in vintages where the great Cabernet making houses of Napa have an unbelievable surplus of juice. They want to keep their case counts low because they want to keep it a desirable and almost unattainable, hard to get wine.
They're playing hard to get.
So they have excess juice. They're not going to make excess cases. Instead, they secretly sell it off to other winemakers. Say, you can't say this came from us, but you can bottle a vintage, and that's what Carneros Springs is. It is a vintage of this 2018 is bottled juice. It could be Screaming Eagle in this bottle. We don't know. But you take the chance, and what that allows them to do is they were able to offer the quality you would get from one of those iconic Napa cabs for much less money so that we can enjoy it. And this is 100% Cabernet. And the cab can be, cheap cab in particular, can be very austere. It can be all acid and tannin and that bright cherry fruit. But expensive cab.
Smells good. I gamble on this.
I gamble on this too. Matter of fact, I'm going to gamble on it right now. Nova's going to take the bottle and leave now because she's going to drink it all by herself. So this is
good.
It's just a really great example of why people say Napa Cab and it's a cliche. Because this is just really wonderful, great structure, great fruit, nice acidity. And the tannins are actually a little softer than I would expect from Napa. I would expect a little more leather, a little more smoke, but there's some nice...
Well, I think they've got some good winemakers blending these grapes.
Mm-hmm,
or blending the fruit from They're getting it.
From Screaming Eagle. No, I'm just kidding. We don't know that, but we're just saying.
We're just guessing.
So, this is like the red blend that we had. It's very accessible. The tannins are not going to rip your enamel off your teeth or anything. Very easy to drink. Very tasty. Wouldn't you love to have some grilled meat with this? Some steak with a little herb butter on it. And all you have is a potato chip, Napa. Nova. I almost called you Napa.